The results from Tuesday's election are in as Framingham voters back Dems down the ballot. The City Council's public hearing on the MBTA Communities Act continues, and a look at A Common Thread Theater Company, a performing arts group based right here in the city. I'm Brendan Fitzpatrick, and this is The Frame, Framingham News in Focus. Hi, and welcome to The Frame, an initiative of Access Framingham. We start this week with Tuesday's election as Framingham voters took to the polls and made their voices heard. Most of the city's voters this year supported Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris, as well as other Democrats down the ballot. Roughly 20,000 votes in Framingham were cast for the current VP, while nearly 8,200 ballots were cast for the eventual winner nationwide, Republican Donald Trump, the former commander-in-chief. Close to 1,200 Framingham votes went to other candidates for president or were just left blank. Meanwhile, Elizabeth Warren's re-election bid was boosted by the vote in Framingham, as she has won another term in the U.S. Senate after defeating GOP challenger John Deaton. U.S. Representative for Framingham Catherine Clark is also heading back to Washington after running unopposed. From Capitol Hill to Beacon Hill now, as 19th Worcester District State Representative Kate Donahue won re-election with help from Framingham constituents. The Democrat defeated independent candidate Boyd Stewart Conklin. The trio of other incumbent Framingham state reps, Jack Lewis, Priscilla Souza, and Danielle Gregoire, all won uncontested races, while 2nd Middlesex and Norfolk District State Senator Karen Spilka won re-election after being unopposed as well. In the race for the District 2 seat on the Massachusetts Governor's Council, Democrat Tamisha Civil emerged as the winner in both Framingham, along with the district as a whole. She defeated Frank Crimmins Jr., the GOP's nominee, for the position. Middlesex County Clerk of Courts Michael Sullivan was unopposed in his re-election campaign, and Middlesex South Register of Deeds Maria Curtatone won another term on the post after beating independent challenger Billy Taro. Both of those Democrats won the Framingham vote as well. Framingham voters were in line with the rest of the state's outcomes on the 5 ballot questions in Massachusetts. Citizens in the city approved Question 1, which permits the state legislature to be audited, along with Question 2, which repeals the requirement to gain a certain score on the MCAS exam in order to graduate from high school. Framingham voters also approved of Question 3, which will give drivers for rideshare companies like Uber and Lyft the ability to unionize. Voters in Framingham, along with voters across the Bay State, rejected Question 4, which would have legalized the use of some psychedelic drugs in the state. The same goes for Question 5, which would have seen the minimum wage for tipped employees across Massachusetts get bumped up to the state's general minimum wage across the span of a 5-year period. Just under 68% of the city's registered voting base of around 44,000 citizens cast their ballots during this general election. With 2024 marking a presidential election year, we reached out to some local voters on Tuesday to hear from them what motivated them to visit the polls in the city and to oversee the civic process here in the Metro West area. What motivated you to come out today?
Well, I think we're motivated by the current political climate and have some serious concerns, both locally but also nationally.
I am all for the women, all for Kamala. I had to.
100% democracy and women's rights.
I've done it before, yes.
Good. And what motivated you to come out to the polls today?
Just to kind of have my voice heard.
So stressed out, I figured I'd be at least doing something and hopefully it'll help.
Is this your first time taking part in this?
Yes.
Half the country is going to be elated, half the country is going to be deeply upset. We certainly hope that regardless of how it goes, there will be a peaceful transfer of power.
Meanwhile, the City Council continued their public hearing on the MBTA Communities Act during their meeting this past Monday, November 4th. More members of the public spoke about the proposed zoning plan as city officials work to comply with the state law that mandates that at least one multifamily housing district has to be zoned as of right within cities and towns with MBTA service. Some residents spoke in favor of compliance, but like the prior hearing on October 29th, most spoke out against the current pitch, especially for the idea of zoning within neighborhoods like Saxonville and Knobscot. Mayor Charlie Sisitsky clarified during the meeting that during his meeting with Governor Maura Healey on October 10th, She emphasized that no communities would be granted any waivers or exclusions from the law, though he told City Council member Novel Alexander that he did not inquire about credit for housing units built prior to the law's establishment back in 2021, an idea that has been brought up in the past by multiple residents. The City Council later began their deliberation on the matter. District 6 councilor and chair of the group, Phil Ottaviani, told residents that while he anticipates some structures will go up within Knobscot at some point in the future, he wants to ensure that all residents can have their say and that every part of the city plays a role in this process.
Hopefully something can get done. We got people that want more density in Shoppers World, and we have other people that don't want any density at Shoppers World. Nobody's going to be 100% happy, but we need to do something.
The public hearing was kept open by the City Council in an attempt to buy more time and to develop a new plan that can benefit the entirety of Framingham. District 1 City Council member Christine Long mentioned that she's looking to work with the planning board and the mayor's administration in order to create that new plan. The public hearing is set to continue on Monday, November 25th. A reminder that Framingham could fall out of compliance with the state law at the end of the year, potentially jeopardizing state funding sources for various local projects. We'll continue to keep you updated on that MBTA story and more municipal happenings on the show, as well as on our website, www.theframe.news. There you can find full stories and feature pieces we've completed across Framingham. Subscribe to our email newsletter to ensure that you're always in the loop. Also, follow us on social media. @FrameNews_ is our home on Instagram and X. Subscribe to Access Framingham's YouTube channel and hit the bell icon there to be notified whenever a new Frame episode goes live. Search for The Frame on Facebook, too. It's now official. A portion of Route 9 in Framingham will be closed in both directions this weekend. City and state officials have announced that Route 9 between Winter Street and Maynard Road will be shut down westbound and eastbound beginning Saturday night, November 9th at 8 o'clock. CSX Transportation filed for the closure in order to conduct emergency repairs on their train tracks that span across Route 9. The closure will run into Sunday the 10th, with city officials anticipating that all travel lanes will be reopened by noon. During the work, westbound traffic along Route 9 will be detoured at the Edgell Road off-ramp before moving west along Pleasant Street. From there, drivers can get back onto 9 from Temple Street. Those heading east on Route 9 will be rerouted onto Temple Street, with signage pointing them to re-enter 9 from Salem End Road. Drivers are advised to expect delays, seek a different route, and to exercise caution while the repair project is carried out. There's just over a week left until the first ever Access Film Festival here in the city. Our studios here at Access Framingham, along with the Village Hall by the Center Common, will be part of the all-day event on Saturday, November 16th. Guests can take part in workshops, networking opportunities, and screenings of films from a wide range of genres and artists. Awards will also be given out during the fest. We recently spoke with Chris Salvi, the director of a short film entitled A New York Minute, which will be featured at the festival. Let's take a look.
Okay, so I'm a very big defender on short films. A lot of people are kind of like, yeah, whatever, it's a short film, whatever. I think you can learn more from a short film than you can a feature. I think you actually have less time in a feature to tell your story than you do in a short film. I feel like with a short film, you can actually have your characters and have your story breathe.
Our website has that entire interview with Chris, as does AFTV's YouTube channel. For details on how to buy your ticket for November 16th's Access Film Festival, head to www.accessfram.tv. And now finally, a preview of our Frame by Frame segment for the week. A Common Thread Theater Company is a Framingham-based community theater aiming to bring residents together through an appreciation of the performing arts. The company will be putting on performances of the musical Gypsy this month at Denison Memorial Hall along Concord Street. We spoke with members of the theater to learn more about what audience members can expect, along with the importance of local artistic endeavors.
I just think the opportunity to go see high-quality live theater at an affordable price right nearby is beautiful. You know, it's important. Just like having public art is important. Having a local library is important where you can get literature. I think having a local theater is important where you can see what I consider the king of all art forms, and you can see it live, and you can see a great show like Gypsy, which once again, is, rarely put on in Massachusetts.
Now, that entire segment on the theater group can be found on our website, theframe.news, as well as Access Framingham's channel on YouTube. If you're interested in seeing a Common Thread Theater Company's production of Gypsy, they'll be performing this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, November 8th through the 10th, as well as next weekend, the 15th through the 17th, at 214 Concord Street. Friday and Saturday shows begin at 7 p.m., while Sundays provide a 3 o'clock matinee showtime. More details can be found at acommonthreadtheater.org. That's R-E at the end of the word theater. That's all for this week's Framingham News in Focus. For the entire team here at The Frame, thanks for tuning in. I'm Brendan Fitzpatrick. We'll talk to you next week. Take care.